Thank you so much for coming tonight. We're so excited. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Karen Chase, and this is
Andrea Lovett.
And together we put together the Once Upon a Generation program. Now this is our 7th year, believe it or not. Oh my goodness, yeah, 7 years. Helping to capture amazing memories from the lives of our fabulous senior citizens in our community from Freetown, Lakeville, and Taunton. And it's such a pleasure to be with you here tonight. Before Andrea and I begin, we want to thank, first of all, the Lakeville Library for opening up their space to us. Again, this beautiful community room. And their support is always greatly appreciated. And also to the Lakeville Cultural Council, because they support this program by offering Andrea and I a grant this year, which we very much appreciate. And of course, the students and seniors and their families who come together to make this program possible. Now, last year, we were unable to do it in person for reasons well known, and but the students and the seniors missed each other so much. We came together on Zoom, and Andrea taught the seniors who weren't familiar with Zoom how to download it, how to get online, how to use it. So bravo to her, because I did not know how to do it. So she took care of all of it. And to the seniors for jumping right in. It was new territory to them, and they wanted to stay with it so much that they made it work. We had some fun stories to go along with that we'll share a little bit later on. Now, a little background for those of you who are new here tonight. All of these talented students were once upon a time part of the George R. Austin Middle School after-school storytelling program, which I have been teaching since 2012. And prior to that, I was at Freetown Elementary from 2002. So they all have the skills needed to take a first-person narrative and make it their own. In that other program, they work with folktales and fables, and they just transfer those wonderful skills for these special stories. So Andrea, would you like to explain just a little bit about the program?
A little bit about the program. Most of you know. So we have seniors from Lakeville, Taunton, and Freetown, and they get together and they write stories. I have to tell you, people, this year, kick butt stories. They were amazing. And they've been writing for a while, and I swear this year is one of the best years, and I want to talk to you about publishing a little bit later. And they write the stories, we help them edit down, we help them choose their stories, then we have the students that Mrs. Karen Chase pulled in. Oh, they are the cream of the crop. They are so amazingly talented. They take these stories, we match them up with their seniors, then they edit down the stories and make touches so that it sounds like their voice, so that it's believable, because they tell the stories of the seniors as if it were their own. And then we have the seniors come back, check in, all the boxes, is this right, and the thumbs up, and then they have a week or two more and we get them ready for their presentation, which is where we are today. This year I am so proud of everyone, but I always say, people ask, do the kids really like the program? I said, well, we had kids that started out in 4th grade and they're in 10th grade now, I think so. And I hope you'll be back. College. So, shall we introduce our first?
Absolutely, I'll leave it to you.
Okay, Alexis Allard. This is Alexis's first year with us, so she's a 4th grader at grades, and she took Mrs. Chase's folktales and fairy tales, and then she was invited to become part of this. I would like to say first, thank you to your parents for allowing you to come and be part of this program. And Alexis, I would like to thank you for being so willing and able to take direction, take that story, and really, I think even the people that have been around for a long time will say, wow, she is really, really talented. So I'd like to, Alexis, you are a natural storyteller. You've been a joy to work with. You have taken direction well, and you have put your own touches to the story. We are truly thrilled with you, and we hope you will consider coming back again next year. So you are going to be telling William's story, William Bell, the annual Sunday school picnic. And we'll have William come up and join you for just a minute so you can see who the story you're telling. Come on up, Alexis, and I'm going to lower this for you. I'm looking back at your sister telling you to come up. Whoa. All right. I'm short, but I'm not that short, so I'm going to have you come here. Is this good for you here? All right. So, Alexis is going to be telling, William always says, tell him what you do. I just stand here and he doesn't have to open his mouth. So, this is William Bell, and Alexis is going to be telling William Bell's story. Are you ready? Thank you, William.
Hi, I'm Alexis Allard, and I'll be telling the story of the annual school Sunday picnic. It all started out one morning when I woke up from the sun shining through a hole in my window shade. I slowly walked to the kitchen to ask Mom, when are we leaving? I'll tell you when it's time to go. Now go eat your breakfast and get ready. I quickly run back to my room to see all the clothes I laid out the night before. The clothes included a pair of freshly washed and starched Levi's with a crease down the middle. That's how the cool kids wore them. A pair of high-top basketball shoes, a white t-shirt, and a Brooklyn Dodgers baseball cap. You're probably wondering, why would an African-American kid from Pittsburgh be wearing a Brooklyn Dodgers baseball cap? It's simple. The Brooklyn Dodgers team is the only team with an African-American player on it. We're all very proud of him. Come on, honey, it's time to go. Oh no, that's Mom. Gotta get in the car, we're going to the train station. After what seemed like an eternity, having only been 5 minutes, we're now at the train station. We waited on the platform for a while, and finally the big black train pulled in. Our parents could hardly hold us back. We were so excited to get our seats. After we got on, the conductor said, "Come on, kids, get settled down so I can collect your tickets." And then Joe said, "We don't need no stinking tickets." We were all laughing at Joe's wisecrack. When we arrived in Youngston, I was not prepared for what I saw. There were so many black people here. They looked just like me. I was so excited. First, we had to find a headquarters for the day, a picnic area. After we found our headquarters, we were off like a shot. First, we were gonna go to the rides. There was roller coasters, carnivals, a bunch of stuff, and bumper cars, my favorite. We treated the bumper cars like the demolition derby, bumping into each other until the operator made the ride shorter and shorter and shorter, but we still went on it until he finally kicked us out. I wonder why. Then we kind of were hungry, so we went to the food court. There was so much stuff there, popcorn, cotton candy, everything. After we gulped it down, we went to the games. There was whack-a-mole, darts, everything. We tried to play it. We thought we were really good. But no teddy bears for us. We were bad at that. Then we went to the Penny Arcade. We tried basketball. Still didn't work. Guess not all luck today. Then I saw a little record booth, and I thought that I could record a song, a 75-cent song, the shape of a CD today. After I did that, I heard a dreaded announcement. "Oh no, the plane will be leaving in 1 hour," said the conductor. After we headed up to meet our families again, I remembered how much I loved and enjoyed the annual school day picnic with all my friends and family. The end.
Fabulous, fabulous. Way to start us off, Alexis. That was fabulous. Alexis is, as we said, she's in the 4th grade. She is our youngest participant ever, and so I think you did a fabulous job. Thank you so much. Our next storyteller. She is a freshman out of Honolulu, and she has been with this program since 2017. And as I said, she's currently in high school. She's not only an accomplished storyteller, but she loves theater, which fits in perfectly with this, and she also has a beautiful singing voice that we accidentally found out about one time when Mrs. Lovett and I were at the Criterion doing a workshop, and there she was, singing away, so beautiful. She always finds a way to bring out the absolute best in a story, infusing it with enthusiasm and charm. Lexi will be telling Beatlemania, written by Carol Foster of Lakeville, who is also our newest senior addition to the program this year. Please welcome Lexi True.
Yes. The cow is coming.
Nice. Yes, please.
I don't know if I want to stand under that. This is from Joe. He contributed this. This is what we're going to be talking about. This is how they look in their younger years.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Lexi True, and I will be telling Carol's story, Beatlemania. The time has come for me to plan my escape from North Ridgeville, Ohio. In 1960, John F. Kennedy had just been elected president, and the First Lady, Jackie Kennedy, quickly became a trendsetter. I noticed that all of the comments on her fashion, hairstyle, etc. were made by women. And that was when I realized that there was another career option out there for women. And that was fashion. In 1963, one of the major Cleveland department stores was giving away a scholarship to the Fashion Institute of Technology in New York City. And fashion in New York spoke to me, and I knew that that was what I wanted to do. And after getting the scholarship, that's exactly what I did. During my freshman year at FIT, the Beatles came to the United States for the first time to appear on The Ed Sullivan Show. And this was a huge deal, because in America, we'd only heard stories of the screaming crowds and seen pictures in British magazines. So everybody was thrilled to see them live. I convinced a few friends of mine to come with me to Plaza Hotel to see if we could spot the infamous Beatles before their performance. Imagine our surprise when hundreds of other people had the exact same idea. We ended up joining a humongous crowd of fans, and every time a shadow would darken a window, the crowd rose up in a roar of excitement, hoping for a Beatles sighting, but after about an hour of false Ringos and fake Lennons, my friend turned to me and said, "This is dumb." I had to agree, and we headed home for the night. The next day, my friend's dad came to our dorm and hooked up a portable black and white television into her room. The entire floor crowded in at 8 p.m. and the show began. I honestly don't remember a single other guest on that show because as soon as the Beatles appeared, the entire crowd erupted, screaming out the name of their favorites. Ringo! I was on top of the bed with 6 other girls screaming and jumping, and I don't think anybody heard a second of that performance, but it was amazing. We then skip over to a late night in June 1964, when my friend bursts into my room saying, "Murray the K is interviewing the Rolling Stones at the Wynn studio tonight." I had no clue who the Rolling Stones are, but my roommate seemed very excited, so why not? And we head over to Central Park West. We waltz straight into the studio and meet up with a few other girls waiting around. We didn't have to wait long because pretty soon, all 5 of the Stones stepped out of a limo and rushed past us to the upstairs studio. I was a bit taken aback by their look, the scraggly hair and dirty jeans, just overall a bit unattractive. And I asked my friend on the way home, why do you like this band? Because having not heard their music, I didn't really see it. And her response was, their music is different than anything else around. It's even better than the Beatles. And a week later, everybody was headed home for summer vacation. I was thrilled to share my big city stories with the people of North Ridgeville, Ohio. But when I returned home, it turned out no one really cared.
Thank you, Lindsay. That was wonderful.
Unbelievable.
It really was. Carol, you wrote a great story. Thank you for joining the program this year. That was lovely. Thank you very much. And now I'll leave it to you.
So our next, I was going to say contestant. Our next storyteller is Cameron Courier. Is that right? I should know this by now, right, Kim? He's an 8th grader and has been with us since 2019. I remember the first year, Cam, that you joined us. I remember Mrs. Chase and I being so impressed, truly we were, with you. Cam is someone that takes such care with the stories that he works on. He is a careful and considerate editor, and I might add, a wonderful storyteller and performer. Mrs. Chase and I always say how lucky we are to have you with us in this program. Please enjoy our next story told by Cam, which is called Hold That Tiger. So Cam, there you go, right in front of you.
Joe?
He's almost as tall as your bust. I'm almost as short as you. We have the same height. Oh, so I'm thinking you probably want that one. Is that too short? Could we fix that?
Put that up a little bit more.
I can do that. I can do that, Cam. I'm good at some things.
Cam never used to be this tall.
I'm feeling so short. Here. Okay, so this is Joe Sylvia, who wrote the story, Hold That Tiger, and this is Cam telling his story.
Hi, I'm Cameron Courier, and today I will be telling you Joe's story, Hold That Tiger. A circus came to Fall River in 1964. With my parents and younger brother David, we headed down to the Fall River Shopping Center, where the circus was located. I was in high school, and David was in junior high. The circus was set up directly on the asphalt parking lot. Around the circus area were parked cars. Father parked our car on the opposite side of the short Jersey parking barriers. This way, we could leave more easily without being surrounded by other cars. Mother stayed in the car reading her romance novel, while Father, David, and I headed up to the circus. The moment we left the car, we were engulfed with the sweet smell of popcorn and the stench of gasoline. When we got up to the parking lot, we could see all of the usual circus attractions: jugglers, performances in a tent, clowns, and even animals in cages. But we couldn't help but notice that there were no cage wagons. One cage held, or barely held, a tiger, a small tiger, but still a tiger. Every so often, it would rotate in a counterclockwise pattern and rub its side up against the cage facing the crowd. It was as if it were looking for its next victim. I began to wonder, is that cage sturdy enough to hold the tiger? Why does that tiger keep rubbing its flank up against the side of the cage? I decided to voice my concern to Father. That cage doesn't look very secure, I told him. Oh, I'm sure that the circus people know what they're doing. That cage must be sturdy enough to hold the tiger. It seems that every time the tiger bumps the cage, it shudders. David retorted, looks like you're shuddering. Father once again voiced confidence in the situation, saying, you can head back to the car if you'd like. I'm gonna stay here a little bit longer. Yeah, Mom can come for you, David added on. Ugh, he was always trying to baby me, even though I was older. I walked among the parked cars back to our car. David soon returned, saying that he too had seen enough. Where's Father? Mom asked. Oh, he's enjoying the tiger cage. He'll be joining us in a little bit. It would be easy to find him if we had to. He wore light-colored trousers, a dark jacket, and had noticeable white hair. As I was looking up to the circus, I saw a familiar sight. It was Dad, and he was running. A group of people closely followed, also running. I excitedly pointed to what I had seen and yelled, "Hey look, Dad's being chased by a group of people!" We all hopped out of the car and ran to meet him. As he approached the parking barriers, he leaped and simultaneously turned to his left. I wanted to laugh and compliment him on his acrobat-like agility, but the situation was unclear, so we waited. Some people headed back to their cars while others came to see us. "Is everything all right?" Mom asked. "I sure hope so. The tiger was shaking the cage loose." Others added on, "Yeah, the paw was right next to my foot. I thought for sure it was going to get out." We experienced a little bit of laughter, but not for long, because from the circus came a tremendous roar. It was the tiger, so we all ran back to our cars, causing a chain reaction of closing car doors. As we waited, Mom commented, "I didn't realize that you could run and jump the way you did." "Yeah, Dad was doing track and field," David added on. "Yeah, that's how I used to run during air raids." He was referring to when he was in the military during wartime Italy. We all wondered if the circus was still open. A few moments later, the loudspeaker turned on, and a low-toned man's voice came on and said, "We welcome you to our circus. The main event will occur shortly. Everything is now safe and secure." After the loudspeaker turned off, a man began walking towards our car. Mom waved him over and asked what had happened. He explained that everything was now safe, but the tiger was able to slip its paw underneath the cage, and it got squeezed, and that's when we heard the roar. Mom thanked the man and said goodbye. Dad looked around and asked if we wanted to go back up to the circus. We all nodded in unison. We had had enough excitement for one day. So just like that, we rolled up the windows, turned on the radio, and headed home to watch some baseball.
That was wonderful, Cam. Thank you. I just love that whole picture of Joe's father running like that. It's just so funny. Thank you. This one. Is this what you
It's off. I took it off. It just flipped it up.
The switch.
Oh, I don't see this one. Oh, here it is. Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you. Our next storyteller is brand new with us this year. She was part of the storytelling troupe this year. She's a 5th grader at Grace, and she actually told a folktale, but did it in tandem with another storyteller. And she was so delightful. I thought, oh, we should really ask Nora, see if she wants to be part of this, because it's by invitation only that they get to be part of this program. And I'm so delighted that she agreed. She is actually going to be telling my mother-in-law's story. Wave over there, Shirley. Shirley has been part of this group from the very beginning. I conned her into it. I'm so glad she stuck with it too. Now, as I said, she told a fun folktale, Nora did, and unfortunately, the week that we were coaching all of the students, Nora was ill and she couldn't be coached. We were going to meet with her at the school. But like the mark of a true committed professional, she decided that she would make time for Mrs. Lovett and I last week, and we met twice on Zoom to coach her. So we really thank you, Nora, because we know you have a lot to do and a busy schedule. She does horseback riding and so many school things. So thank you for making the time for us last week. That was really wonderful of you. You will be delighted with Nora's exuberance and energy. Please welcome Nora sharing Shirley Chase's story, Almost 40.
I'm Nora Smith, and I will be telling Shirley Chase's story, Almost 40. So I was born and raised during the Great Depression, where a woman didn't have many choices and men did. I married young at 18, and I built a house. My life was good, and then I had a son. And then I decided I wanted to go to college. So one night I made my husband's favorite dinner, and which was spaghetti, and it smelled like heaven. And I dressed in my finest clothes, and I went downstairs, and I asked him, Ray, I want to go to college. And he said, no, no, no. You have to stay here and you have to do all the work around the house. And I said, well, it could bring more money into the house and help pay for our son's college tuition. Okay. So the next week I went to the college and I asked if I could join, and they said, well, you have to take 2 foreign languages and math class. And I walked out. I was pretty disappointed, and then I wanted to get out of the house, so I decided I would go work at the Ponnaclet. And so I started a job there. I was a lunch lady, and I started talking to some other students, and they seemed like they were really happy, so I decided to go talk to the principal. But I was really nervous because the principal could be mean. So I went to Mr. Joseph's office, and I asked him, hi, Mr. Joseph, could I please take a math class and 2 foreign languages classes? And he said, why do you want to take them? And I said, because I wanted to go to college, and I had to take a math and 2 foreign languages classes. And he said, well, I'll have to talk to my superiors. I said, okay, and I was nervous because I didn't know if I would be able to go. So I waited for a couple of days, and finally I got a call, and they said that I would be able to join with the other students. So I started with the other students, and I was doing really well. I got good grades on all of my tests, and I got A's. And then I finally finished, and I went back to the college, and I asked, could I finally join college? And they said, you have to take 2 more tests. I walked out of there nervous, and I was thinking to myself, what if I didn't pass these tests? And so I took these tests, and I was waiting for a couple of days, and I was super anxious. I was waiting for the note that would tell me if I got in or not. And finally I got the note, and they said I got in, and I was so excited. So I went to go tell my husband, and he was excited also. So then a week later, I started college. It was fun, and then when I finished, I was happy to see that my first paycheck would pay for my son's college tuition. Yes.
I have to let everybody know that little baby in that picture that Shirley is holding is this gentleman right here. Yeah, thank you, Mom. That's right. Thank you so much. No, you did a beautiful job.
You did a great job. All right, that's kind of great. Okay, I get to introduce Kaya, and I am thrilled because this year I get to introduce you. And let me see what I said, because I was like tearing up when I wrote it. It's like, she is just amazing. Kaya, I'm so thrilled to get to introduce you this year. Kaya is an exceptionally talented storyteller. Oh, I don't need to do this. Kaya is now a sophomore. We have had the pleasure of watching her grow into a brilliant editor and storyteller. Truth. You always choose just the right words and emotions to include in each story. You've done such an amazing job with Winston's story. I am sure everyone will agree and be moved by Winston's story and how you, Kaya, tell it and perform it. The story is titled, Letters from Far Away. Where's Winston? Okay. This is. And that's Winston's museum down the back, and Carol has some things too, so take it out and look at it when you have the story afterwards. Or you could take it off completely. I only read a beard.
Okay. Hi, my name is Kaya Rigo, and today I'll be telling Winston's story, Letters from Far Away. June 20th, 2020. A good day to open the box, and even a perfect pandemic project. Over the course of 57 years, it's lived in 4 states and even a different country. There lay over 200 letters from Mom, Dad, and me, and they consist of the days, weeks, months, and years that I was on active duty as a U.S. Coast Guard between the years of 1964 and 1968. However, they have yet to be read. I picked up a loose letter on the top, and it read, "Dearest son." "Mom!" I exclaimed. I was surprised by the tears starting to roll down my cheek. I flipped through all the letters and put them in order of dates. It now became a living novel, all these years becoming one letter, 57 years later. I picked up the first 2 letters that went between my parents and myself, and they consisted of many loving words and me telling them all about boot camp and endless orders, marching, and chaos. They responded with excitement and were full of content to know that I had made it through what was only the first couple of weeks as my years of my future as a U.S. Coast Guard. It's eye-opening to think that Mom would now be 114 and Dad 122. So what would they think about all of the twists and turns I've taken since my years of being 17? Sorry, okay. Mom's handwriting had a sort of style to it. There was something to it that was clear, bold, and memorable. Her handwritten letters, the soft silkiness of her penmanship, that's what kept me going. I read her sentences over and over and over again, and each time I read, her words touched my heart even more. By 1965, it had been about a year since leaving boot camp, and I was a seaman aboard the Coast Guard team. In my next letters to Mom and Dad, I told them all about my location. I was several hundred miles off the coast of Greenland, and it was a very tough lifestyle. Sometimes I would find myself during my watches tied to the side of the ship breaking ice off with nothing but a baseball bat, never mind the constant blizzards that never seemed to let up. In 1966, I was in Newfoundland, Canada. That's where I found my true home. I was a second-class officer working in my own personal office, and I found a large family that fell in love with me and I them. That was my home away from home that I walked to 6 miles every day for 6 years. One day when I was in my office, I noticed as a naval officer threw away several large rolls of telepaper that he couldn't use, so I grabbed a piece. From then on, Mom and Dad would then be receiving my letters in feet rather than pages. Once I started writing, I just couldn't stop. Feet became yards, and I laid out my heart and soul, my hopes and dreams all in one. I pictured my mom sitting with her long black hair at the kitchen table, writing her worries as I mentioned my marriage. She'd say, "Dearest Winnie, there are plenty of girls to marry in the States, please just come home." On May 1st, 1967, I sent my 134-foot letter home. Yep, it was 134 feet of my words sending home. My commanding officer said that it should get back home by the 16th, which also happened to be Dad's birthday, which to me, that seemed like the perfect birthday gift. A couple weeks later, I received notice that it did indeed get home on Dad's birthday, and Mom said that when he finished reading, it took him 3 hours, and he was filled with pride and joy. Okay, what's next? A couple weeks later, I received word back from them, but it was weird. I just received word from them not that long ago. Why would they be writing so far? Why would they be writing to me so soon? My commanding officer called me down to the office, and as I opened the letter, my hopeful delight turned into remorse. It wrote that Dad was dead, and I didn't know what to do. Mom always included him when talking about the things they were doing, but I never got to read a letter from him. In February of 2021, I was down to the last 4 letters, and it was very late at night, so I decided to just push them away for the next day. But as I was pushing them away, I noticed that the letter I was supposed to read next was different from all the others. It wasn't Mom's handwriting, but it was addressed exactly the same as it always had been. As I opened the envelope, I skimmed my eyes down towards the bottom where it read, "Love, Dad." Tears started streaming down my cheek. As I read the letter, I couldn't stop crying. That is when, about 57 years later, that I did indeed finish reading the letters, and I looked back at all of the ones that I read from Dad. In his first letter to me, he wrote, "Dearest Winnie, I am writing to you because your mother hasn't had any time to sit down to write." It was Dad's sort of hobby to read the Bible in the morning, every morning before he went out to milk the cows. And in this particular morning, he told me he read about Jesus being baptized, and God said, "This is my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased." At the end of his letter, he wrote those exact words, "You are my beloved Son, in whom I am well pleased. Love, Dad."
So, that is the letter. And the letter is actually in the back of the room at the museum. I heard Vincent say it took 3.5 hours for your parents to read that letter. Our next couple. Yes. Oh. Yes.
Talk about being committed.
Never say break a leg.
I know. We say bite your tongue in storytelling. We say bite your tongue. We'll take a few moments to let them come on up and get settled.
Come on, boss.
Come on up there.
Come on.
Are you hurting him?
Oh, yeah.
Thanks the first time.
Thank you. I'll do the intros.
Yeah, I know, for the first time in 7 years, I'm finally taller than you.
Let me get this for you. Oh, yeah, no, because he's sitting down. All right, I'm just going to scoot over here for 1 second. These two gentlemen are Austin Pelletier and Boston Piquet. They have been with us since 2017. They are closing out our program tonight. They are now sophomores, right?
Yes.
At Apponequet. Oh my goodness, we just love having them. They have joyfully ingrained themselves into this program. We are always, we send the emails out inviting them back, and when the email comes through, it's like, oh, I don't want to open this because they're going to say they can't come this year, and then they do, and we're delighted. Now, every year, we switch up the pairings of the students and the seniors, so they get to tell different people's stories, except for these two. Because when they first joined, they told Pat's story. And they developed such a strong connection with each other that we couldn't even think about splitting them up. So every year, they tell Pat's story, and his stories complement their storytelling style. Their humor and personalities, as I said, connected so completely with Pat. And both Boston and Austin always bring their A game to every story they share, approaching each one with humor and also with thoughtfulness when it's called for, always adding their own special spice to the story. This is Boston Piquet and Austin Pelletier sharing Pat Creneen's story, Eileen and Me. Please give them a warm welcome.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah, all right. You want to go first?
Hi, I'm Boston Piquet,
Yeah, no, I'm Austin Pelletier,
and we're telling Pat's story.
Eileen and Me. The sun crept through my windowsill that late June morning. My older siblings had already gone off to their summer jobs, so I had the day to myself. Like a master chef, I had all the ingredients at my fingertips to make the day whatever I wanted. I didn't know, however, that today would be peppered with some fear.
This one particular day, I was eating breakfast at the kitchen table when my sister Jane approached me. Jane was only a few years older than me, so she didn't have a summer job yet, which meant we got to spend lots of time together in the summer.
Hey, what do you feel like doing today, Pat? I don't know. Do you have any ideas? I really hope she did. Growing up in South Bronx, especially back then, was a pretty rough place. That's why my mom never let me go out and play with the other kids in the street. I'd usually spend most of my time in that small little apartment watching one of the 3 channels we got on the family's box TV. Well, it's really hot outside. Want to go to the beach? I thought that was a great idea. On a day like today, who wouldn't want to go to the beach? Is it okay if I invite Eileen? Another great idea. Eileen was one of Jane's friends, and admittedly, one of my crushes. Hey, Eileen, it's like really hot outside, and me and Pat are gonna go to the beach. Do you wanna go? I could tell by the expression on Jane's face that Eileen thought it was a great idea too. Out of excitement, I ran to my room and threw on my swim trunks. I had to wait for Jane though, because she took forever.
Once Jane was finally done, we dashed down the 6th flight of stairs, met Eileen in the lobby, and waited for what felt like an eternity for bus 42 to show up. Finally, we got on bus 38 and we headed on our way.
The bus ride there felt like an eternity too, but in a good way this time. I got to sit next to Eileen, and I thought we really connected on the way there. Orchard Beach wasn't that much to look at. It was about a mile long, and there really wasn't that much to do. But for kids our age, we had a whole day of adventures planned at least. So we plotted a course to go find a place to put our stuff down in the sand.
Once we found a place to put our stuff down in the sand, we put our stuff down. And I took my shirt off, peeled my socks off as if they were banana peels, and started heading towards the water. But after a moment or two, it felt like hot coals were under my feet. I let out a loud, ah, and quickly jumped back onto the tower.
Eileen being Eileen, she noticed us. And Eileen being Eileen, she offered to help.
Oh, Pat, is the sand too hot for your feet? Let me carry you to the water.
And in a moment's notice, Eileen scooped me up and hoisted me over her shoulder. We were on our way to the water.
With every step, we got closer and closer to the ocean, and every step, the ocean fumes tickled my nostrils. Eventually, splash, we were in, and I was ready to be let down and start swimming. But Eileen just kept walking and walking and walking, and I was definitely over my head.
Eileen, okay, I think we've gone a little too deep. I think we should go back just a little. I'm not that good at swimming.
No, you'll be fine.
And she kept walking and walking and walking.
It got so bad to the point where even my sister Jane noticed I was in way over my head.
Eileen, you should really put him down in the shallow end. He's really bad at swimming.
Eileen took that to heart. We went back to the shallow end and she threw me over her shoulder. The cold water hit my bright red face. I can't believe that happened in front of Eileen. I feel so embarrassed.
We stayed for a few more hours. I was embarrassed, but I couldn't let that ruin my day. I ate some ring-dings on the beach, drank some Coca-Cola. Some street performers even sang some Neil Diamond songs. That was cool. But eventually it was time to go home, so we got back on bus 57 and headed back to the apartment building.
The bus ride back home didn't last as long, fortunately. I was really embarrassed and just wanted the day to be over with. We got back to the tenement buildings and were ready to say our goodbyes.
We said bye to Eileen, walked up the 6th flight of stairs, opened the doors, and then we were back in that stuffy little apartment building.
For the next few days, I remembered that day very fondly. Granted, there was fear, boredom, but there was also excitement. I will always remember my day with Eileen. Oh, yeah.
I'll tell you, they never fail to entertain us. And those of you who may not have heard all of Pat's stories, a long time ago, one of his stories had ring-dings in it, so every year they'd find a way to put ring-dings in the story.
And Neil Diamond, this
And Neil Diamond from your other story, that's right, and that is that is Pat, with the age of the story, and that is the beach that they used to go to. So, let's give them another round of applause. They were wonderful, wonderful. We have a little awards presentation, and can't forget the seniors. We wouldn't have this program without the senior stories. Please give them a round of applause, please. So we have an awards presentation for both the seniors and the students, and we'll call you up here in the order that you performed. Parents, please get your, I hear bagpipes.
I'm so glad you saw that.
Bagpipes. So we have a Bridge Award for Alexis Allard. Please come on up, Alexis. Award says for your extraordinary work in bridging the generations, preserving their stories, and giving them voice. Presented to Alexis Allard. And we have a mentor award that says, with deep appreciation for sharing your personal stories, friendship, wisdom, and mentoring the next generation, please come up, William Bell, and collect your mentor award. Next, we have a Bridge Award for Alexandra True, or Lexi as we love to call her. Come on up, Lexi. First time for you, Carol Foster. Please come and receive your mentor award. Trying to do double duty over there. And of course, Cameron Courier. Please come and accept your Bridge Award. So you all did. And please come and accept your mentor award, Joseph Sylvia. And for the first time, Nora Smith. Please accept the Okay, yes, no? Want to wait a second? Okay. I'll come to you. How's that? Would you like me to come to you? Okay, all right. My wonderful mother-in-law, Shirley. Shirley says to me, what am I going to write about? I don't have any more stories to write about. And every year she comes up with a great story.
I don't have any more stories.
Yes, you do. She's told us about surviving the 1938 hurricane, surviving an attack by a rooster at 4 years old on her family farm, moving away to South Carolina with her husband when she was in her 20s. She's got fabulous stories, fabulous stories. And our Bridge Award presentation now to Kaya Rigo. And Winston, who always has a story to tell. Winston. Didn't Kai do a great job Tuesday? He was very happy to be paired with me. Do you want me to come to you?
Nah,
No? Okay. All
Handle it.
right. That's commitment. That's commitment. Boston and Austin. Just give me a big hand. They want you up here, please. Thank you. And Pat Cernine receiving his mentor award. Pat's wife is normally with us too. She always writes a lovely story, but unfortunately she's had a few health challenges this year, so she wasn't able to come this year. We hope to have her back. Give her our love, Pat, please. We miss Kathy. We miss her. Andrew, you have some things you want to?
Oh, yes, I did. Thank you for reminding me. Let me get my item here. I have to thank a lot of people. Oh, good, that's even better. All right, so I would like to thank you, the audience, for being such a fabulous audience and support. Thank you. I'd like to thank LakeCAM. Thank you so much for coming. I'd like to thank Jamie, who's out there probably working hard at the library. She helps us put this together every year, and she gets the room for us. So thank you, Jamie, way out there. Cultural Council, also known as the LCC. Do you ever hear that? You know, people say, oh, I gotta get an LCC group. That's what that means. They're very important people, VIPs. I'm not good with acronyms. I mentioned that our second performance is next week. How true.
Yes.
Next week we have a performance on the 9th at the Freetown Historical Society, and it is the same time, 6:30. Tellers, 6 o'clock. Seniors, 6 o'clock, and we'll see you all there. And I'm going to have Mrs. Chase end it with a wonderful proverb.
Andrew and I are always, feel really blessed to be able to do this program with the students and the seniors. It is something that, we talked about for a long time before we were able to put it together. And we're always so grateful and truly, truly feel very blessed. And one of the things we had found, we do folk tales and fairy tales, we perform ourselves, and because we're always looking at different cultures, we found that there's an African culture, proverb from the African culture that states, when an elder dies, a library burns down. And we truly believe that. Please, if you have family nearby, or even, there's Zoom, there's FaceTime, there's the telephone, collect their stories, because as you can tell from tonight, they're very, very important, and we don't want them to disappear. Thank you all for coming tonight. You are all appreciated.